Welcome back, round 4 now underway. Heat 1 has just hit the lineup. Australians Taj Burrow and Julian Wilson up against the most dominant surfer. Hey, Kelly Slater getting started early, climbs up over the lip on that first manoeuvre. Big backhand carve for the second turn.
Yeah, Kelly Slater looking on point as usual, sticking to that trusty CI equipment and taking off really high into point there, trying to find a quick score. Unfortunately, that wave shutting down on the inside. And just behind him running Taj Burrow, kind of just sneaking under all the headlines from Owen and Kelly. A lot of those big performances out here. Kai Otten been making a big splash out here, but Taj has been marching through, surfing really well.
As we see out the back, some movement. Kelly Slater picking this one off. Just tucking up under the lip. Has the strength to power through and throw his board completely vertically. Maybe wave just died out, unfortunately, for Kelly. As we see Taj Burrow taking off. Big section here to play with. He climbs up onto the roof. A massive backhand floater, and he scorpions. And turns around and has to wear one on the head.
Can I order up an vicious wipeout? I'm surprised. I thought for sure he would have come up really slow after that. That looked like a really awkward wipeout there for Taj.
I watched him take off. I watched the wave line up. It looked like it was going to get a big barrel on it, and then he just threw it up into the lip. Started to float, got the wiggle on, dropped the tail, and then flew out over it, and then just absolutely scorpioned at the bottom.
Movement out the back as we see Julian Wilson looking to get himself out of third spot here. A huge floating re-entry, and he projects down the line and just flows straight into a couple more big backhand jams, but a very committed first turn, and he stomped that. Movement out the back as we see Julian Wilson looking to get himself out of third spot here. A huge floating re-entry, and he projects down the line and just flows straight into a couple more big backhand jams, but a very committed first turn, and he stomped that.
Floaters are you know, a wild maneuver of choice right now. The free fall that they're getting from you know, the top of the lip line back down to the trough it's really big. So to land in the flats like that with that much speed, a lot of pressure. When you reconnect with the wave on your ankles and knees, it's really tough to handle it. And you can see this is from the reef. Amazed that he went for that, but he really kind of connected perfectly. It's almost a seamless float. Where I thought he might buckle with the knees, he went straight into 2 more moves. So in my opinion, that's going to be the best score so far in this heat. A lot of commitment there, Ronnie.
Oh, he just goes upside down just to connect with that lip. Read it beautifully, and just compressed to handle the impact. He needs a 4.08 to jump up into the lead. Kelly Slater, he is the surfer currently holding on to, well, one of the lower scores, a 5.67, but a 5.91 at the moment could get him into the lead. But I think that it's going to be a battle for really big numbers towards the end of this heat. A 5.91 is not going to keep Kelly in the #1 position, as we see Julian up once again, looking to drop a 3. Oh, sorry, this is the replay of that big number, the 8.57.
Yeah, there's a ton of commitment on that first turn. He covered so much ground. And again, floaters right now are a heavy commitment because you're free falling.
Taj Burrow now looking to chase down just a 4.08 to get himself into the lead, but he wants something bigger. As he throws down some floating re-entries before letting go of a big power snap. Bit of fun on the face of this wave, but Taj having no dramas. Impact moves out the back now. Julian Wilson grabbing rail, stalling for the tube, and he gets a clean cover to begin with, and a second running line through a beautiful deep inside tube. Huge roundhouse cutback. Doesn't overdo it on the rebound, doesn't need to. Massive points in that wave since then. So great stuff for Julian to be back here in the 4th round.
Great read right here. You can see eyeballing that long wall we've been talking about. It's sort of like a puzzle. You have to really match the speed, and he did it perfectly. Not once, but twice. Tucked way behind there. got really deep. That's going to impress the judges. Not only did he maximize the time in the barrel, but he got way back in there. And you have to really navigate over the foam ball inside the barrel. Right there, just wiping off enough speed, but then now you can see holding his line, knowing that he has to keep his foot on the gas to make out the other end. Great tempo there to match that speed for the barrel. Again, that's going to be a massive score.
Last year's Pipe Masters champ had an 8.57 on his previous wave without the tube. And this is a good size set wave too, Ross, so you'd expect a massive number here.
He is psyched. I mean, he just won the lottery there. Perfect rhythm. He had priority. That wave came his way. I guarantee you when that wave approached the lineup, he knew that he was about to score. I'm sure Kelly was extremely green with envy.
Through out 9.8s. The average, well, it was a 9.93. And Wilson in a commanding position.
This competition, you know, there's been better performances with turns and carves and some deeper barrels, but that wave was just an absolute gem.
And you saw him setting it up. It almost looked like he was too deep. We're looking kind of down the line at it. And when he dropped into that wave, pulled up, stuffed into it. I mean, right now we're watching Taj just, oh, look at that beautiful line on it. Grabs the rail. You know, not a long wall on it, so he's going to kick out. But back to Julian. That wave lined up so far down the reef, and to have the poise to actually grab the rail, set the pace, and let that line be true. We heard Kelly talking about it in his, you know, tube riding clinic. Well, I think Julian was listening because he saw that thing, saw the line, set it, and had so much confidence going into it that most of the people I would have said, oh, there's no way he's coming out. And I knew he was coming out just from the line he took. It looked so perfect. And then the commitment on the end. You know, it wasn't a crazy turn, cutback, rebound into the whitewater, but where he jumped off on the...
For a charity right there.
Well, here we go. This is Kelly Slater trying to get himself back in this heat. Grabbing rail, pulls into the tube. A little fast for that first section, and the wave is going to shut down. So Julian Wilson maintains his lead.
Available, but that wave was just so perfect. He pulled in and got a great barrel, and here we go, Taj Burrow up.
With speed to use in this tube, sets his line, holding onto that wall, a tricky section. You could see there was a huge rib in the... And Julian left out the back on the ledge, and he is just pacing his way through what could be a monster shack. No hands, he gets that cover. He gets on that toe side rail to find the doggy door.
Look at the size of this thing, doubled up right past the ledge. You can see that thing almost looking like Chopu in Tahiti. Really heavy and thick, straight behind it. And even though it's a quick barrel, that is going to be an image from the boat.
And Julian Wilson has been dominating the lineup. He's got priority, but it's Taj Burrow who swings on the first wave in the set. Just times his bottom turn to set up this tube. Stalling. He finds some cover. Can he punch through the foam? Well, good setup, great style, but doesn't find the exit. Julian Wilson behind him now with a little bit of water drawn off the reef. He hangs on and gets another barrel as that wave just detonates behind him. And he kicks out. Kelly Slater taking off, just trying to find his groove now in this round 4 heat. Set up for the tube. Not much cover on offer, and Kelly ejects and ended up getting a high 9. And then again, a close heat for him in the third round with Kolohe and Dino. Less than a point separating the two competitors. But Julian is well out in front in this heat.
Chased him, but he got out in front. Watch this foam ball fill up right here. Pushes him down, but as he got pushed down, the lip was absent just for a second. Just enough for him to outrun that absolute avalanche. That was a ton of water behind him. There's that fuzzy chandelier that he burst through. That had to have felt really good. And see that little break in the lip line. Really fortunate, because watch it regain strength right here. Watch the lip line. It's going to chase him down. See all that girth? That is a ton of water. And it's going to just barely nip him right in the heels.
That is massive.
That hits you in the head, you get knocked out.
It was lucky that chandelier section kind of pushed him out and not into the path of that lip, because
totally,
that would have been one hell of a wipeout. Well, a monster score coming through for Julian Wilson, a 9.5. Those kind of heavy waves, so he really started to commit to places like Pipe. Julian's always spending lots of time out at Pipeline when he's in Hawaii, and as a result he is constantly sharpening his big wave act, and he's just in cruise control out there with 45 seconds to go. Just a monster.
And that size filling in. Look at that thing chipped in from outside the ledge. So right on cue, the Surfline forecast said right around 12, 1 o'clock, this swell will pulse. That's exactly what's happening.
The swell is starting to really, really come on, and so are the performance levels. As Kelly Slater takes off, he just wants to get that vision and feel the cloud break vibe, and he will on this wave as he gets spat out, and he is deep in the barrel and goes for the impossible, and you know he had enough speed to almost get there.
That was an incredible wave right there. That's going to be a massive score. I know it's too little too late, but how's the confidence of Kelly just saying, you know what, I don't care what's going to happen to me, I am packing this thing deep, dragging his rear end in the wall, getting as deep as possible. He knew he was too deep on that thing, he didn't care. Right back into the shish kebab section. That thing was girthy. It's going to be another awesome image from the channel. That was a huge barrel there. Kelly just got pitted all the way across the reef. But he's going to find himself in round 5, Ronnie.
As will Taj Burrow, because Julian Wilson has just put on one of the strongest performances of the contest so far. 19.43 heat score total, and he is powering through to the quarterfinals.